Rob, I would love to start with you. How do you, as a business that has traditionally serviced home building and construction industry, help your solar and roofing contractors really stand out from the herd?
Yeah, I mean, it comes from a lot of the decades of experience, not only from our team, but also from all of our branches across the country. You know, with ABC Supply being in the distribution model for over 40 years, we've really perfected it over the years. And with the product lineup that we have here at ABC, we've really curated a great portfolio to help differentiate people from just selling the same mundane products over and over again in every single market across the country. So we've really kind of opened up that product mix so people have options.
Rob, you have traditionally serviced the roofing industry, and you are embracing and bringing in installers in the solar industry. I've talked with James, your vice president, about how installers are becoming roofers. Talk to me a bit, as someone who comes from the solar industry, how you see that becoming increasingly a part of the business that you serve.
Definitely. You know, with the merging of the two industries on the roofing side and the solar side, we're seeing a huge influx of roofers looking to get into the solar market, but not knowing where to start, which is where ABC comes into play. But also, we're seeing the flip side of that with those guys trying to get into the opposite side of the market as well.
Anthony, we talk about contractors that are in some ways shifting focus or shifting industries. How do you help contractors with the common challenges that they face? What sort of out-of-the-box solutions does ABC Supply bring?
As you can see, our fleet behind us is what really differentiates us from the herd. We drive to the moon and back every day with these trucks. That's how many miles we put on the ABC fleet every day. The ability to do rooftop delivery, I don't think there's other solar distributor in the U.S. that can do anything like that.
Talk to me about rooftop delivery and how that differentiates the ability to do business in the solar industry.
It makes the jobs go quicker. It cuts down on guys hauling material up the roof. If they could be on and off a roof a lot quicker and save their guys, because these guys are out installing in the sun every day.
Oh yeah.
And if we could just ease that workload on them, I mean, that's a huge part. They could maybe get to 2 jobs a day because they're not having to sit there and lug stuff up and down the roof all day long.
Absolutely. So you form an essential piece of the supply chain, and I would argue a critical piece of the safety chain.
In addition to the logistics, helping them with their cash flow, they're able to spread their credit lines through multiple distributors, and then the option to do, job accounts for these guys for larger commercial projects, where they're able to get their commercial jobs on a job account, and it doesn't tie up any of their cash flow. They're not having to go and purchase this material up front.
I'd love to hear, are there any stories or feedback from your contractors that help you that help you know that you're doing it right?
I mean, we hear it every day.
Yeah.
These guys are looking for other options. And when they come over to ABC Supply, they're talking about the customer services like nothing they've ever dealt with before. They said, they're not going anywhere. They're going to stay with us for the long haul.
Eric, talk a bit about the question that I'm sure is on many of your customers' minds: tariffs, sourcing materials. How do you put your customers' minds at ease?
That one's an interesting subject because tariffs is on everyone's mind, especially what's going on in the current state of the economy and everything that's impacting it. We're monitoring it very closely. We're trying to make sure that we bring in products that are responsible and they're in line with the Customs and Border Protections. Hence, there are certain product lines that we're aware that are in the industry that are causing issues. And I'm just trying to be in a stable place, and we're not going to have any issues with having something in stock and then all of a sudden running out of stock, bottlenecking the industry, or being impacted by the tariff cost rate, the price increases on those tariffs. So it is a very hard stake, involved constantly, a lot of reading, a lot of looking at the .gov site, and then our relationships that we have with our vendors is very impacting.
Yeah.
Because those vendor relationships and letting us know what's going on with them and where they're going to be in the future in the next 6 months is going to be crucial for any contractors in this business. So it's a daunting task. It's a lot of stuff.
You've got a full-time team that's dedicated as well to making sure that there is fidelity in that supply chain.
Yeah, but I think the relationship with the vendors is key because they're the front line. They're the ones that are dealing with all the problems and the issues. So then also in turn with our team here, all getting together and bringing in the proper stock and bringing the proper quantity for our contractors and letting them know that these are the ones that are not going to be bottlenecked. We can go, we have inventory, and we have not a lot that we can move for them.
You mentioned bottlenecks. How have you helped remove bottlenecks and avoid supply disruptions for your customers?
I think our diversity of how many branches we have and the capability of doing like a hub and spoke, a position where we can actually stock multiple products in multiple locations, but also kind of having a little bit of diversity, but also everyone being together on purchasing. So that capability allows a contractor, if we run short on some product in a location, we can transfer from a location to another location very easily because of our intercompany transfer capabilities.
And with to add on to Eric, with our various vendor partners, we're able to pivot pretty easily. So if there are any sort of supply chains or bottlenecks that we hear about from the front lines from those vendor partners, we're able to quickly pivot so those contractors are not skipping a beat with their end clients ultimately being the homeowner.
Rob, let's finish with you. I'm sure that you often encounter solar installers who maybe are a little reticent to partner with a vendor that has been considered part of the roofing supply chain. How do you overcome that objection? And then are you seeing that embrace both from the roofing side and the solar side? Where do you see these trades really coming together?
Definitely. Traditionally, there's, kind of going back in time, there wasn't very many brick and mortar locations selling solar.
Yeah.
It was mostly online solar distributors, mostly based up in the Northeast or on the West Coast. So for some of us that were based in the Southeast, we were waiting on supplies to come in, hoping they weren't damaged. That way we wouldn't have to delay homeowners' projects and whatnot. So with brick and mortar coming about, about 2010, 2011, with green tech coming onto the scene, they really changed the industry. A lot of the industry wouldn't be where it is without some of our competitors that are in the market space right now. And where ABC fits in is we've been there for the past 40 years servicing the roofing industry, and we're just learned everything that we've learned over the course of those 40 years, we're implementing that here with this new division as well.
Well, it's exciting to see how I think in many ways ABC is shaking up the supply and logistics in the solar industry, specifically bringing a level of maturity. To your point, there are few companies that can boast 40 years in business, a fleet of exquisite machinery like this that can do things like rooftop delivery of products. I'm impressed and encouraged that not only are we beginning to professionalize everything across the supply chain for our industry, but that the solar industry is seen as a growth sector for businesses across the value chain in construction. Gentlemen, thank you for taking time to join us.
Thank you, Nico. We appreciate it.